You know, Thailand has been popping up in my search feed, homepage, algorithm a lot lately, along with some other places. Now, I don't know if they trying to send me a message to get out of here, or maybe that they're seeing a lot of people relocate. But my issue with that is you only show people the good. Don't just show me all the good. I want to see the good, don't get me wrong, but show me the good and show me the bad, and also show me the weird and unusual. That's gonna pique my interest a lot more than just the good and the bad. Show me the weird and unusual. Show me all of it. So we're gonna check out this video here, man. This is the 20 strangest things recently discovered in Thailand. Let's check it out.
There are strange things that pop up all over the world, and a lot of them can be explained, while some of them just leave people scratching their heads. Some of those weird things have turned up in Thailand, and today we're going to talk about them. These are the 20 strangest things recently discovered in Thailand. Number 20. The Red Lotus Sea. Now, it may not seem like an odd thing to start off with a body of water, but trust me, this is something you don't see every day. In Thailand, there is a body of water that has a special event that goes on during the cooler months of the year. Specifically, when the temperatures reach the right state, a bunch of red lotus flowers will spring up. That alone would not be all that odd, as we know from other countries that flowers do grow on bodies of water, which include things like river lilies, lily pads, and more. However, what sets this one apart from the rest is that it's not just a couple dozen lotus flowers that pop up, they shoot up in the millions. And technically, they're not even lotus flowers, but water lilies, but you know. At approximately 8 kilometers long and 3 kilometers wide, the freshwater lake is an important water source that sustains a variety of fish, birds, and plants, which includes the red lotus and lilies that you see here. The lake and its flowers are so prominent in the region that they have a legend assigned to them that is basically an epic saga all to itself. It would take too long to describe all of it, but needless to say, there are a lot of people who believe in this tale, and there was even a movie made about it. As you can imagine, this has become both a popular place for the locals and a booming tourist destination during the months that the flowers are in bloom, which, given its location, is between December and February.
How about it, ladies? We take you here. Can we score some serious, points with y'all? If we take you here on a date, romantic date or something like that, huh? We winning after this? We scoring after this? Or no? Y'all not really feeling it, huh? This don't do it for y'all? Like a Valentine's Day type ride? See, I like the simple. It ain't always got to be expensive restaurants where you paying for almost a $200 steak that don't taste no better than the one you got at home that you can make on the grill. I like this.
You can even hire a boat to take you out on the lake so you can see the flowers up close and personal. No matter how you may feel about them, you have to admit it's quite the sight that certain bodies of water out there in the world would be more desirable to visit if they had something like this going on.
But no gators or nothing in the water? That's my first question. Like, what's living under there? That water is too dark to where I cannot see Nathan. I can't see Nathaniel. What's in there?
It's time for the sweet topic. Has a strange colossal winged creature been found in Thailand? Well, that's what some people online are trying to say. If the image can be trusted, quite the crowd is gathered, and clearly a few people have become interested by it. And if this thing fell out of the sky and in front of me, I would be absolutely fascinated. As always,
fell out of the sky? You mean cast out of heaven? Where did that, how did that just pop up out of, no. See, those are the type of things I hope I never come across just out strolling in the woods. Well, I would never be in the woods anyway, you know what I mean? But I don't want to come across nothing like that.
Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below by using the hashtag #SweetTopic. Number 19. Human-faced fish. When you're a fisherman, the only weird thing that you want to catch is a fish that isn't as big as it should be. You never want to catch a fish that you don't recognize, as it's likely going to freak you out and make you wonder what else is below you in the water. Surely enough, in 2020, a man was doing some fishing when he had quite the reaction. That reaction was due to how the fish that he had caught was looking at him. You see, he did not recognize the fish, but the fish's face was definitely staring at him, and that made him jump back in terror and almost throw the fish overboard. When you have a look at the fish in question, you can understand why that reaction was warranted. The fish is not only rather ugly, but it's one where you can see the resemblance to human features, especially in its eyes and mouth. The fish weighed 2.7 kilos and it was 42 centimeters long, so it was not the biggest of fish, but it was one of the most jarring things to look at. Even the fishermen didn't want to eat it just to be safe. After giving it to some scientists, they claimed that it was a Polacaris fish, which buries its body and head in the sand, while keeping it...
I mean, look at that fish. Do you blame it? Do you blame them? I wouldn't eat that either. It looked like they found it near Chernobyl or something like that, man. With the little things around the face and the eyes, it looked like it got into some type of chemical and had a reaction. No, I'm not eating that.
Its wide mouth open to catch smaller fish and invertebrates that come near it. So it wasn't exactly cursed, but we bet the fisherman doesn't want to deal with that kind of fish ever again. Number 18. Three Whales Rock. Easily one of the most common weird things you're going to find going from one country to another are the various kinds of formations that you'll come across. After all, Mother Nature has made some very weird things over the years, and in Thailand, one of the most unusual formations was that of Three Whales Rock. These are a trio of granite stone formations that have been around for about 75 million years, and they look like whales when seen from the right place, including from above. They're a popular tourist destination, and the local people love talking about the place due to the legends that surround it. Allegedly, once upon a time, there was a village that rested right upon the nearby coastline. That village was constantly visited by a pair of three whales who would greet the villagers in various ways, and the villagers were honored by that. They even felt as though the whales were the guardians of the village in certain ways. However, one day some villagers were greeted by the whales, and one of them accidentally got caught in their nets and was getting injured by it.
Now, I've seen this before, but I don't ever think I've seen this with that huge crack in it. Y'all see that crack in it? I was just about to tell y'all, this is the type of spot you would find me at. It's just sitting there reflecting, peaceful, quiet. You know what I mean? You deal with the visitors coming in and out, but this would be a place I would go to just find peace for a minute. Until I saw the cracks in it. Like, they need to get down fast. I don't like that now. I don't like it now.
And one of them accidentally got caught in their nets and was getting injured by it. The fishermen eventually cut up the net so the whale could go free, and the three whales departed never to return again. The villagers would name the rocks after them to remind them to be mindful of the waters that they were surrounded by, and to honor the creatures that were within them. Number 17. King Cobra. For the record, it's not exactly weird to find a king cobra in Thailand, as they do reside in that area. However, what I'm talking about is how a massive 4-meter long cobra was found in a pipe and had to be pulled out by its tail. Now, that's not something you're going to see every day. The footage that you're watching showcases a man who's trying to chase down the cobra, only for that serpent to go into the nearest sewer pipe. The man bravely goes into the pipe to get the snake and eventually pulls it out without getting injured, which is the key thing to be noted here. It's the size, though, which makes this a particularly weird event. As you can see, the man is having to basically climb up the snake by continually pulling it backward so that it can get closer to the snake's head. That's not easy, not to mention that it's dangerous, as this kind of snake will cause you serious harm. Even the rescue people admitted that they had not seen a snake of this size before. And just to let you know how much of a problem it is for the people of Thailand, they regularly have to call the fire department to help get rid of snakes that they often end up finding. Nope.
And for that reason, I'm out. I'm out. Don't ask me to go to Thailand. Don't ask me to visit. Why didn't y'all tell me they had this type of issue? And this ain't a small issue. This is No. I don't like snakes, and snakes of that particular kind is at the top of my list to stay away from. A cobra? Yeah. No, bro. You just find one in wherever you sleep in, or they just come across them. Nah, I'm cool with that. They left that off of the brochure.
Number 16. Buffalo crocodile. Another thing you can count on when it comes to certain nations is that every single one of them has a "what in the world is that creature" story to tell that they'll love to tell to you. After all, things do happen in nature, and it often leaves people baffled and wondering how certain things come to life and are born. In 2015, a farmer in Thailand had that happen when a buffalo gave birth to some calves, and the vast majority of them were fine. However, there was one within the litter that was decidedly not fine. In fact, it didn't look like a buffalo at all. Instead, it kind of looked like a crocodile. As you can see, this is not fake. It's actually a real animal, and people are examining it. You'll also see quite quickly that this calf has a really scaly hide that makes it look like a crocodile instead of a furry buffalo child. Equally as weird, its head is elongated so that when you look at it, you get the image of a crocodile. I don't exactly know what exactly it is that's going on here. However, I can tell you that animals are known to have certain birth defects that can lead to a newborn not exactly looking like it should. Even still, it's a pretty bad look for a young calf, and if not obvious, it was not alive when it was being examined. So clearly something happened to make it both look like that and to pass away so young. Number 15. Airplane graveyard. Have you ever wondered what happens to planes after they're put down for good? You know, because they're replaced or getting a little bit old and it just becomes too costly to do the repairs and maintenance kind of thing? Well, typically they're placed into an airplane graveyard in places like the desert, where they can be used for scrap and not rust over so easily. Yet in Thailand, you're going to find that there are certain planes that are just on the side of the road. They're not put there randomly, for the record. These planes are part of a graveyard on a person's property, and they slowly turn the planes into scrap so that they can sell them for parts. That's a standard procedure kind of thing in this case. However, the truly weird part is that there are actually people living in these planes. They've not been...
Why not? Why wouldn't they? Man, please. The cost of living in certain places, not saying it's like that in Thailand, but imagine that. Imagine that we had like something like that here where a bunch of planes were abandoned and you can go in there. Look at the insulation on the side of that. Imagine, man, being able to fix, hey, HGTV, come see me in about a year. I'm going to have this thing hooked up. Y'all ain't going to want to leave. Y'all going to be like, how he get central heat and air in this airplane? Got it feeling good, smelling good. He got something on the stove. Yes, he got a stove. And I'm telling you, I would have that spot hooked up.
Fully converted into homes. It's simply that some homeless people go into the planes and slowly shift them into houses for themselves. They allegedly have a deal with the property owner to allow this kind of thing to happen, and they even sell parts from the plane when it's possible. But it arguably gets even more weird than that. Due to this being a weird thing to find, there are tourists who will come up to these planes/homes and actually ask for a tour. The denizens allow it for a price, and so the planes are not only their homes, but also a source of income. It's still sad that these people have to resort to such means in order to get a roof over their heads, but props to them for making it work with what they have. Number 14.
Hey, turn it into an Airbnb. Start making money out of it. Get yourself on your feet, get your job, build it up. Then, once you get you a place, talk it over with the people who own the land, turn it into a Airbnb, split the profits. Passive income coming in. Look at her. Man, please, listen. Lemonade, people. Lemons to lemonade.
15. Orange Pearl. As noted earlier, one of the key features of Thailand is that it's a bunch of islands, and that means that there are plenty of coastlines to go to for various reasons. One of the reasons for a particular low-income family was to collect shells. One day in 2021, the family, headed up by the father, went to one particular coastline and found a discarded buoy that had numerous shells on it. The children took the shells and gave it to their father, who then started cleaning them and opening them up. and as he did so, he found something that he never expected to see, and that was an orange pearl. Milo pearls are formed by sea snails, known as Milo, and the...
Why my kids can't be this type of blessing? Don't get me wrong, my kids are a blessing. You know what I mean? Why they can't be this type of blessing? That's all I'm saying. Bring me home something like that instead of bringing me home problems. That's what they bring me, problems. Give me that type of problem.
Deposited inside of their shells, unlike traditional pearls which are found in oysters. As you can imagine, the man was a bit surprised by the finding and showed it to his wife and kids so that they could appreciate its clear beauty. Then the next day, he went to get it appraised to see if it was worth anything. You have to remember, this was a low-income family, and one that apparently did not have very much at all. After getting it appraised and word spread about the pearl, the value would soon be placed at about 250,000 euros. In fact, the person who wanted to buy it, after verifying it, was from China. They were coming from all over the world to get this pearl. The man who found it said that he would use the money to better his family's lives, which meant that he has his priorities in order. Number 13. Mysterious tree. Now, believe it or not, there are plenty of weird trees in the...
Hold on. I gotta know. 250 euros. How much? $270,432.50 in the United States. Yeah. Talk about a come up. Yeah, bring me those type of problems, kids. Bring me those. I'll take those problems any day.
The world that defy belief, including some that defy science in ways that cannot be explained just yet. In Thailand, their mysterious tree has to do with a legend that involves the Buddhist god Indra. Very loosely, in an effort to protect his wife, who would go picking fruits in a forest that was inhabited by certain male creatures, he planted Nerafan trees that would create fruit that looked like his wife, so the creatures would take them and leave his wife alone. It gets even more weirder than that, but that's the overview version. Anyway, fast forward to the modern day, and people in Thailand have been so enraptured by that story that they've gone out of their way to create pieces of evidence that prove the trees and the lady-shaped fruits exist. There have been pictures and footage taken of such a tree and fruit, and it's left many to wonder if it's actually real. However, when you dig into things just a little bit more, you're going to see that there's conveniently no other footage or pictures or anything that proves the fruit or trees, and that alone shows that it was a hoax to prey upon those who believed in the story. Number 12. Three-Headed Elephant Museum. Now there's a title I never thought I would say. Bangkok is a very unique place inside of Thailand, and if you talk to people who have only been there for a little while, they're going to tell you that it might be terrible because it's easy to get lost in everything that they have and not get to do everything that you want to do. However, if you go there for yourself and not listen to morons, and you manage not to get distracted, you'll want to go to the Erawan Museum, Bangkok. It's also known as the Three-Headed Elephant Museum. The reason for that is the 50-meter tall elephant statue that's the actual entrance of the museum, and yes, it does have 3 heads. I'm not sure why they decided on a 3-headed elephant being the best way to get people to come to the museum, but it clearly does work. Also, I didn't write this script, so it could have been researched, but you know, I only say the words. Just as important, once you get into the museum, you're going to find yourself surrounded by all kinds of art. That includes intricately crafted staircases, stained glass windows, and more. One of the pieces of stained glass is actually a world map, which is pretty cool. And if you look around a bit, you're going to find even more multi-headed animal statues. Clearly, the museum has a thing for that kind of animal. Oh, and I just took literally 10 seconds to look it up for myself. And the 3-headed elephant in Thai culture is a symbolic figure in Hindu and Buddhist traditions, representing power, harmony, and the interconnectedness of the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. It's often associated with the Hindu god Indra, and it serves as a celestial mount, symbolizing divine authority and protection. It also represents the trinity of creation, preservation, and destruction, as well as the past, present, and future, and the ideal human state of being aware of the physical and spiritual worlds while also taking thoughtful action. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of effort. Number 11. New ant species. Here's a weird fact that doesn't solely apply to Thailand, but to the entire world itself. Ever since we truly began documenting animals of all types, we've wondered just how many species are out there that are left to be discovered. Fast forward to now, and it's been made abundantly clear that we're still nowhere close to knowing every species that exists in the world. Between the land and the sea, there is so much left to be found. Case in point, in 2020 it would be announced that 5 new species of ants were discovered in the world, with some of them being in Thailand and the others from Borneo and Malaysia. The important thing to note here is that they weren't only found, they were found after a potentially long period of life without anyone having ever noticed them. Our world is truly full of life and we should all be grateful for that, but it's going to take a long time for any of us to come together and chronicle every single life form that exists on planet Earth. Thankfully, some are up to that challenge. Number 10. The Sanctuary of Truth. Believe it or not, despite how incredible and beautiful the Sanctuary of Truth is, it's actually an unfinished building. You see, it was designed by someone who wanted to fuse the design of philosophy.
Look at the detail. That's the first thing that caught my mind. And then they have the nerve to say they're not even finished. It's not even finished. What more did you want to add to this? Now, this would be definitely, if they ain't have the cobras, I would definitely make this stop on my list of places to go. Seriously.
Of things like temples and castles, not to mention Hindu and Buddhist beliefs, in order to create something that would truly stand out. On one hand, he succeeded, but on the other, well, it's not quite done yet. Just as weird as it is that the place is made entirely out of several kinds of wood, and that includes not only the building itself, but also the sculptures that are inside of it. The good news is that despite its unfinished state, you can actually go and visit it. Number 9. Giant Snake Rock. In a place called Naka Cave is a large rock formation that many have likened to a snake. They did this for 2 reasons. First, when you look at the head of the rock, you can very easily tell it's something that is very snake-like in shape. You can see easily the mouth and eyes and the scaling of the rock. And then, when you get inside the cave, you'll soon see its scaly body that makes it seem as though someone had carved out the individual scales to make it look like snakeskin. So then, what's going on here? It's hard to actually say. It could be an ancient sculpture, or it could be something that nature came up with over many years. Only deeper research is going to provide those answers.
Probably open that thing up and see one of the biggest snake dens you've ever seen in the world. All different types of snakes, like being on Snake Island or something. Y'all heard of Snake Island before, right? I think I've shown that on this channel before, but that's probably what that thing is housing. Probably one of the biggest snake dens ever.
Number 8. Robot Building. Thankfully, this building is not one that's run by robots. It's just one that happens to look like a robot, and for a rather simplistic reason. For that reason, we have to go to Bangkok in the late 1970s. The Bank of Asia wanted to create a brand new headquarters for itself and desired a look that would showcase how computers were helping to revolutionize the banking trade. They then hired an architect to do the design, but he could not come up with something that fit the theme that they were going for. That is, until his son came into the room with a toy robot, and the rest, as they say, is history. You may be thinking that the Thailand bankers would not have been up for something like that, but they loved it, and by 1987, the robot building had been created. It used to be one of the tallest buildings in Bangkok, and even now it's still praised for its design. Number 7. Rare tigers. There are many species of animal in the world that are either endangered or close to extinction, and there are many big cats on that list. In 2017, the Indo-Chinese tiger was one such creature that was on the brink of extinction, and that's why many people in Thailand and beyond were trying to come together to figure out where to find more that may have been hidden, and then attempt to breed the population. This is where the weird part comes in, because they were found in a national park. The answer was right under their noses the entire time. With this new population, efforts rekindled to try and save it. Hopefully, things have improved since then, because the loss of a single species can actually cause harm to our planet and the ecosystem, something that we should never forget, and all hope that such lucky breaks won't be needed in the future. Number 6. Glowing mushrooms. Mushrooms are something that can be found almost all over the world, and they are something that both people and animals just love to eat. You know, so long as they're not the poisonous kind. However, even now we're still finding new versions of mushrooms, including ones that glow in the dark. This happened in Thailand in
I don't know, I'm gonna go out on a limb and probably say the glowing ones we probably shouldn't eat. I don't know why I feel like I have to say that, but some people, you know, I question y'all these days, your decision making and your survival skills. So don't eat those, okay? Even if they tell you eat them, don't eat them.
2011 within a certain forest, and the reason that it's so interesting is that it's not something you're going to think about. Bioluminescence is a special thing in our world, as only certain plants and animals can actually do it. Yet, here were some mushrooms that were glowing on the trees. The question now becomes, well, why? There is typically a purpose to this kind of thing, and hopefully we'll be able to get more answers on it soon, or possibly even learn what other plants can do this so-called trick.
I don't know, that also makes me think about the movie Black Panther and how they had that, what was that called? That they were using to regain health, or using it for the technology and everything like that, and they didn't want people to know about it because they would show up and try to, yeah, that kind of reminds me of that a little bit. So I don't know. I might I still say don't eat it though. Don't eat it.
Number 5. Giant skeleton. Here's one from Thailand that makes the rounds on the internet every once in a while, and it's something that not anyone should be fooled by. If you take a look at the picture, you'll be able to infer that this is a human skeleton that is allegedly getting attacked by a giant serpent. What the internet's going to tell you is that this was a giant skeleton found alongside an equally large snake. But here's the thing, it is not a real skeleton, neither of them are. They aren't CGI or AI or anything like that. They were actually created for an art exhibit. Yes, really, the people of Thailand decided they wanted to glamour up some of their caves, and so they made this 2-part skeleton for an art exhibition. You have to remember the golden rule, don't believe everything that you see on the internet. Number 4. Rare whale skeleton. Getting back to reality, we'll now talk about a very real finding that was made back in 2020. Specifically, there was a whale skeleton that was discovered that was not only perfectly preserved, but was said to have belonged to a whale species that existed over 5,000 years ago. The fossil itself was rather large, about 12 meters in size, and many would note that it was a rare finding simply because these kind of whale bones are not found in Asia for some kind of reason. The scientists believe that it could be a window to the past, showing what life was like when it was actually alive. Number 3. Cave creatures. You can probably guess where this one's going before I even break it down. In Thailand in 2018, a video began circulating on the internet that appeared to showcase some really odd cave creatures, scaring tourists who noticed them on a private island in the area. Naturally, the video went viral, as people wanted to know what was going on and what in the world they were looking at. Some even said that they were a kind of Ewok, because everybody loves the Ewoks. Except for me. I'm
glad they keep showing this video. That way people aren't alarmed when they come across it when they visiting over there. Because I remember when this first hit the internet, it looked crazy, by the way. It looked crazy, but now that everybody knows what this is, they get you won't be so alarmed. And I think that was vibranium. Back when I was talking about Black Panther, that was another thing that popped in my brain too. Yeah, I think that was vibranium.
Think they're an abomination. Anyways, as it would turn out, the video wasn't only a hoax, it was an art project that was done for an event that depicted certain trolls from Thailand's mythological past. Clearly, they were good enough to fool people, but then again, people are easily fooled now, aren't they? Number 2. A cave rescue. This one's not so much a weird thing as it was a harrowing experience for those who were involved and the world who watched the incident with bated breath. In 2018, a group of young soccer players went into a cave and then got trapped in there by the sudden rushing of water. They were trapped in there for 9 days as people on the outside had tried to get them with little success. When the divers finally did reach them and found that they were mostly okay, outside of being starved, the families and the people watching were thrilled. Eventually they were all rescued and the world then rejoiced. Number 1. Cave paintings. Now, I didn't intend to end this video with so much cave stuff, but you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. In western Thailand, a cave was documented to have cave drawings inside of it from about 3,000 years ago. As I've noted many times on the Fancy Banana, these kind of cave paintings are a key window into history and the peoples that lived in the past periods. By seeing things through their own eyes and through their drawings, we can learn more about them. In the paintings are drawn a number of human-like figures, some with accessories on their bodies, while others appear to hunt animals with a bow and arrow. The fact that they survived for so long is actually incredible, and many will fight to preserve the cave drawings so that people can learn more about them in the future and possibly see if there are more like them nearby. Well, that's about all from Thailand and the many recent discoveries that have helped to prove that it's a weird place, whether its citizens want to admit it or not.